going on, folks? Welcome back to the Worm. It was a beautiful night last night back in the tent after a bunch of months in the cabin. Actually, it was pretty freaking cold this morning. It was great. And the nice thing after that tent deck rebuild, I didn't feel it move a bit, even walking around on there. I think that thing's gonna last for a long time. So you guys know, since I built the cabin, I've been planning to rip the inside back apart to refinish all the wall boards that were green when I put them up, green and wet. Now they're nice and dried out. I've really been wanting to run them through the planer, which I have to run off the generator. I've screwed with it again. Generator isn't gonna do it, and you know what? I'm strangely okay with that. I, all of a sudden this morning, don't really feel like taking all the wall boards down, all the furniture out, and redoing this thing. Mostly because I want to get to my hanging coffee table as fast as possible. I looked at a few of these wall boards I did put through the planer when I was putting them up. If you get up close, you can tell the difference. I don't think it's going to make that big a difference. I mean, I see it when I look at some of these boards. I see like big muddy handprints, dirt, chalk line, chalk, all that stuff. But I mean, how much time do I really spend sitting back just going like, man, that's really bothering me. I always do my best not to be bothered by stuff. That might sound weird, but truly, I don't like to spend my time on things because it's an annoyance. I'd rather spend my time on things I'm excited about, and I'm crazy excited about this hanging coffee table. We'll walk down there in a minute and look at this giant pine log that I want to make it out of. I'm starting to think, you know, it's a long log and then it Y's off. I'm kind of thinking it'd be cool to take as much of that Y as I can. We'll just take the board right out of the middle of the log. Put eyelets in four corners, hang it from the ceiling. The only thing I do need to do before I do that is I need to put the ceiling up. Before I start putting eyelets and pulleys and crap in there, it would just be nice to have it completely finished, which means we got to go mill some logs. So I'm thinking if I'm going to get the big mill out, I'm going to do this today and tomorrow because I think Tito's coming tomorrow night. So that's Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. I don't know how many days he wants to mill up those aspen logs that we chopped up many months back. So I'd like to have the big mill available to him those days. So we got 2 days. We've got some logs. Oh, we need to drag some logs too. Remember there are a bunch of cedar trees that I took down for the rifle range down here? And at the time it was crazy muddy, so I just left them all sitting there. And that's good. We can drag them up here now with bone dry. My dad called me yesterday just to say, don't have any fires. The fire risk is way too high. And then my brother texted me this morning saying exactly the same thing. It is really dry. We haven't had rain in, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks maybe. And it's been really hot. Oh man, wish you could see the camera. It's one of those bitey flies. This is gonna hurt, sorry. Missed him. So yeah, it's dry enough now we can drag those up and without destroying the trail. That's a great cedar log. Those are okay. That's got a bend in it. And then there's a short one here. So we got those 4 cedar logs plus whatever's down there. We'll mill all those in 3/4 inch and use that for the ceiling. And at the same time, if I can get it all done in the next today and tomorrow, we'll mill up the massive pine log. I don't even know how I'm going to move it, but we'll take that out. Then Tito will be here. Maybe he can help me drag it up here somehow, set it aside, and we'll let it season for maybe a week, maybe 2. So I'm gonna throw my boots and helmet on. We'll go down and grab those cedar logs sitting down there on the rifle range. I know you guys have probably seen this log like 5 different times. Once again, let's just take a quick look and see what we're working with here. The temperature is so nice right now, and there's actually like a wind warning. I think it's supposed to be 30-mile-an-hour winds pretty much all day today. So here's this big sucker. This, man, there's just so much lumber in this part of it. I've got a 36-inch bar on the big saw, which gives me like 30 inches to mill with. So I'm thinking we might do, well, that might be about 30 inches across. That's probably a little bit more. But we might take this, cut this off, and mill, I don't know. We'll have to decide how big a coffee table to make. Maybe 6 feet or something, 5 feet. Okay, that's as long as I can look at it. I gotta go I gotta go drag those other logs first, and then we can get into this. Once I start mulling it over how to use that, I'm just gonna want to do it right now. And that's totally fine, except that the ceiling needs to go up before I can do anything with that anyway. You know, I think I gotta sort all these out first. Plus these 3 really nice pine logs, those will get used for like 2x material later on. Maybe I'll just roll them all over there out of the way. Oh, those are some solid pine logs. I think we're gonna need a lot of logs. I hope I have enough down here. Well, there's one milling log. The other one's not big enough. Oh man, not much. Another small one. Decent one. Small one. Dang. Well, I guess I can mill up that giant one. That's too bad. Or I could do pine for the ceiling. Should I make a different kind of ceiling? Or I could do the sides, like the vaulted part of the ceiling. I don't know what you call that. I just made it up. I could do this with one kind of wood, like this, and do the top with a different kind. Maybe I just start at the top, do the top with cedar. That might look kind of cool, actually. Top's all cedar, sides, ooh, one side pine, one side spruce. I always like the cedar so much because it doesn't really collect any bugs. I mean, if you let a cedar log like this sit out for a while, bugs get just into the bark, but they just never seem to go into the wood. And since I don't have kiln dried lumber, there's a good chance I put the board up on the ceiling, bugs wake up, come out, eat my whole cabin. So these are the logs Tito's gonna mill up this weekend. I don't know if you guys remember this tree coming down. I think we cut 2 of them down. One might have been garbage, right next to the shower over there. I got a couple more aspen logs from a tree I cut down for the shooting range. I just kind of shoved aside for him, but if he's gonna be up here milling and I already got the toe and stuff out, I might as well bring him up here for him. Ooh, these suckers be heavy. I think with the dry trail though, it'll go up just fine. You know, I just looked under the tarp over there and we already milled up a bunch of 3/4 inch cedar. I vaguely remember that. You guys, I'm sure you're all sitting there like, dude, you don't need to mill anymore. You did it before in a previous video. Looks like there's a stack of at least 10 boards, 12 boards or something. I mean, that's not going to do all of it. I'm just going to rip through all these real quick. They're pretty short, pretty small, should be easy. You know what else I just remembered is that I have those those new mill rails. And that's probably when I milled up all that cedar, was to use the new mill rails. Is that true? Anybody? Anybody? These are all pretty short logs, so I think I'm going to use those more. I think I've only used them just once for that video. See if I even remember how to use these things. I will say these Granberg mill rails are especially, I mean, I haven't used them that much yet, so don't take my word on it, but they seem really great for shortish logs, like these are still 10 feet and under, and for relatively straight logs. As they get longer, you have more adjustments to make. So even on this 10-foot log, you've got 8 screws to put in. You gotta level it this way and then this way. If it's a 12-foot log, I'd say my mill rails are a little bit easier because you're only attaching the plates to the ends. So you're only leveling 2 things, those big fat plates. However, if it gets really wonky, then neither set of rails is very easy. I don't know, really 6 of 1. It doesn't, it's a preference thing, I think. But since I haven't used them that much, I'm gonna definitely use them for this chunk of logs here. I think I've only got one that's longer than 10 feet. Man, that chainsaw's fun. So I'm just peeling another log here. I think this might be one of the first cedar logs I've found that the bark didn't peel in a spiral. Usually I put my knife in here and I start along one of the grains. The grain kind of rolls off the side one way or the other. This was almost straight. So I'm gonna take the first slab off of this fairly thick and I'm gonna save it for my cedar longbow. It was funny, I don't know if you guys have used ChatGPT or if maybe I'm just way late to the game, but I was messing with it the other day. I was like, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT if I can make a longbow or a flat bow out of cedar. And we had this nice long conversation. And it seems as though it might be possible. I don't know, actually, the more I think about it as this dries out, well, I don't know, I'm gonna save this top piece anyway. We'll set it aside. ChatGPT did tell me that you're not really supposed to use the sapwood if you're making a cedar bow. I assume that's the case with other woods, like other more appropriate bow woods, but I mean, as a computer, it can't be wrong. Yeah, look how smooth that is and how straight. That is cray-cray. Really nice. I mean, there's still some little tiny knots, but I don't think those are going to be the major problem making a bow out of this. I think the major problem is going to be trying to make a bow out of cedar, but we'll find out. Cripes. That's not going to work. Because my favorite part of using this rail system is pounding the dogs in. You can't pound the dogs in the top. We'll put a hole right through where the bow would be. The cleanest part of this is that end of it. You can get all the way up to here without a knot, which is like 5 feet, 5.5 feet. So I looked at it and I could actually get a stave up to here if I brought it off to the side a little bit. However, can't really think of any good way to get this thing to stay on here without pounding these in. Maybe I could ratchet strap around there, and I could probably skip this one because that would be in the middle of the bow. And then I was thinking this, if I push it all the way over, it'll be in line with this knot, so that really wouldn't screw up the bow wood. I feel pretty confident that this will not make a good bow, or even a decent bow, but I still want to try it, because you never know, sometimes you get surprised. And even if it totally fails, we'll still learn something from doing it. That's the best I could do. Probably accidentally turned this into lumber or firewood. Bow. Doesn't write too well on wet wood. That says bow. Bow. For instance, here's the very next log. I just peeled that with the grain. See what a twist it has? That would make a very crappy bow. Actually, you'd probably shoot the arrow and it'd come around and hit you in the back. It's not good stuff. I mean, it's great sealing wood, just maybe not great bow wood. Oh man, I got tired last night. My whole body was tired, mostly from moving that big mill around. The sucker just runs through logs with that big of a power head on it. But when you're doing small logs, real thin slabs, I mean, I cut 50 slabs yesterday. I'm just picking that thing up, put it on there, and to take it off, muscling it around, it'll wear you out. Completely different if you're doing 1 or 2 giant slabs where all you're doing is just cranking it through there. This last log, I don't know if you can see all these spots. There's little bugs that came through the bark. I kind of want to look at one under the microscope. See if we can pick one up on here. There we go. Just a little bitty thing, like a fleck. I don't really learn anything by putting these bugs under the microscope. I just think it's cool when all you can see is a dot, like a little chip of pencil lead or something. You put it under there and it looks like a flying Tyrannosaurus Rex or something. This is my last little log, and then I've got a small pile of the first and last cuts there. I'm gonna get out the small mill for it, just because it's so much work. With these little tiny offcuts just slide all over the place. I have to like screw them into the sawhorses, and they're so light, the mill is trying to knock them over and everything, so I think it'd be a lot easier with the small one. And they're so thin, it doesn't take any power to get through them. Alright, I think we're going to need the big saw for all of this, which will be kind of fun. Switching out for a cross-cutting chain here. We'll go measure the thing out, cut it up, and then I'm going to come back, switch out the chains. I'm actually going to take the dogs off of here, off the cover and the saw, because that'll give me like an extra, couple inches, so I can make the coffee table 2 inches thicker, wider. I thought I had 30 on this, but when I measured it was only like 27, so I'm going to do everything I can to get it up really close to 30. And I mean, I almost never cut with this saw, it's just for milling now, so we don't need the dogs on there after this. I guess I could just make the table out of this end. By the time the mill's on there, I'd have a couple inches left. I just think it'd be kind of cooler if there was a split in the table. Plus I'm gonna have to knock the bark off of here, so I think we can get like 3 or 4 inches bigger on the other end. The only issue I'm gonna have milling this is, do I have to say it? It's really freaking heavy. I'm not really gonna be able to move it. So like for instance, if I wanted to mill a log to there, just cut it there, I've got to be able to get the mill on that side of it and get in there. Well, that's actually less true with this Granberg mill rail system, because it does bolts onto the top, whereas mine you have to go onto the end. But yeah, still, you couldn't do it. It's not like you could finish your cut in the log and then just run into another log. So I think we're gonna have to cut a chunk out of this end, out of this Y here, and then see if we can pull it with the four-wheeler just a few feet. I mean, the good thing is that it's downhill, so if I left that stub on there, I could probably get my log tongs on there and maybe jerk it down a little bit. I don't know. Let's go 6 feet. About right there. Let's see, I think it is still gonna be, yeah, this is like 35 inches. So take the bark off, we'll lose a couple inches, and then I might just have to trim it back a little bit. I could do that with a smaller saw. Oh no. Well, it was easy to move, but big bummer. The Roddy spot. That's right where I wanted to take the table out of that right there. There'll still be some 2x4s in there. You can roll it on edge. Tito can mill it up and use it for his cabin or something for framing. But that's not going to work for a table. Yeah, no telling how deep it goes in there. So I guess we're taking a slab out of the fat end there. Well, I guess I don't need to take the dogs off the saw anymore. That's nice. Should have plenty of bar to get through this. I don't know if I've got anything that'll peel this log. Pretty sure I did it before with the chainsaw and just took some of the bark off. But yeah, I think this could be the one thing that would break this knife or just take me all day. Huh. Well, the good thing is it didn't get drug anywhere. There's not any dirt in it, and I just checked and the bar just fits through there with the mill on it. So I think I'm just going to do it as is. Even with my big pry bar, I think this would take a really long time. Are you all cringing, waiting for me to bend or break this thing? Yeah, I was going to use the Granberg rails here, but I didn't bring the third section. I mean, I could go grab it. But with the bark on it, I think those dogs you pound in are barely going to get through the bark. Let's see, this is 11 feet. I think I'm going to go get my mill rails. You guys want to come and you could each carry, I'll get it. No, you be still. I'll go back for the other one. You take a load off. You don't look good. This might be the first time that I get to use these outside holes. Never mill logs that big. Oh, would have been sweet if one of you remembered the level. All right, what were we doing? That's why they make this part of the drill metal, just like my old one was. It's so you can use it for a hammer. Whatever, you don't know. Could be. Ooh, that's gonna be solid. Perfect size log for this. Look at that. If it's 5.5 feet long, 24 inches deep, how thick should I make it? Like everything, I'm gonna hang this thing up before it dries, assuredly. And I haven't figured out how I'm gonna do the pulley system. I mean, I could do like a 4-to-1 pulley if I needed to, so that's not really an issue. What do you think, like 4 inches or something? Maybe I'll take a couple of 4-inch slabs out of here, and then I'll have some big planks just to do cool stuff with. And the rest of it I could use for building material, or I'll just set it back into a log type shape and leave it for later. See how that'll do. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. As you guys know, I don't mill for slabs or for furniture. I just mill for building supplies, so I'm not sure the best way to go about this. I do know that this will be the biggest log I've ever milled, and I've got about 3 inches left. That would be the biggest log I can mill. That went great. I'm not sure I can move this. I bet Tito could. Oh, yeah. Oh, it was fine when the wedges were in there. Ooh, we got some bad spots. This end looks pretty nice, and then it slowly goes downhill. So that's not great. And we're not quite down into the garbage yet either. It's kind of hoping this stuff didn't start until further down the log. Well, we'll just keep doing slabs until we find something usable. Worst case is we could cut it right there, and that's probably 5 feet of good stuff. It just wouldn't have that beastliness. I mean, it still is like 16 inches, 18 inches wide. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take 1.5 inch slabs off this, because on either side of the bad spots and in the middle and stuff, there's still a lot of lumber that could be used for 2x4s for Tito or a future building project for me. So we'll just do 1.5 inch slabs until we find something good. Then we'll get that 4 inch slab out of it. Ooh, that's bad. Real bad. I wasn't leaning on the saw at all. It was going by itself, but just putting a little bit of pressure. And man, that's a lot of vibration through that big saw. So I went up and grabbed the, I don't know what it's called, winch rod. Use this in place of pulling the four-wheeler up here. Give you something to tie the winch off to. I feel like I might have used this once. Maybe Tito and I used it when we first tried out the new mill. Slide it up about like that. Well, I just taught myself a lesson about milling big logs. I just went ahead and made this a slab, so that's 3.5 inches, and I measured out the other end. I can get two 3.5 inchers out. The only thing I didn't take into consideration is I can't lift that. I can't pick it up by myself and even flip it over. You know what? I'm not going to be able to use the edges of this thing anyway, so I bet we can chop it in half and I can lift it. Unfortunately, I don't know what this looks like on the bottom of it, if it's roddy all the way down to here, or if it's roddy way back to there, so I think I'm just going to cut it, and then I should be able to flip these over. I'm going to have to do some ginger chainsawing, so I don't accidentally cut down into the next slab. I think I can do it. Yeah, you can see we're just about out of the bad spot here. It's disappearing. Just a little bit of dark stuff there. Probably want to, well, I bet an inch down it's not even there. And we've still got a 3.5 inch slab that's got 3+ feet of good stuff in it. So these two are about the same size now. So I'm trying to decide if I should just use that for my table. And then what do I do with this? Maybe I should just leave it for tomorrow. There it is. What's up, dude?
Morning.
Did you get mosquitoed away?
No, that last night was pretty intense for a minute.
Before you got in there, you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, they're swarming.
I put that smoker in there and it left it for a minute and they were plastered to the windows.
Trying to get out.
Yeah, so I opened them up and they went away.
You want to come down and see my melon project?
Yeah.
This is for my hanging coffee table. Maybe this one or that bottom one is even better. I was going to take it out of that one, out of the Y.
Yeah.
And I chopped it off at 6 feet, and yeah, it's bad all the way through, so just decided I have to take it out of this, and the rot went way down there. I just have like 2 more milling passes. I'll be done with it by the time you're ready to mill. So Tito says it's all right if I cut into his milling time if I go after this split log, just to see what's inside, see what it looks like. Oh, well, now we're back to needing the dogs taken off the saw, the big saw. I don't know, this thing's gonna be huge enough anyway. I think I'll just trim the edges so the mill will fit through there. So the mill's got exactly 27 inches. Make it so it just barely squeezes through there. Well, doesn't look like a Y anymore. Not sure how the plates are going to attach to this. We might have to use the... No, the Granberg mill rails won't work either. It's too weird a shaped log. Because they attach to the top and the screws won't be anywhere near. You need like a foot-long screws for this end. I don't know if this is going to work, dude. Where are you supposed to put the plates on this end? That's the best we could come up with to get it up above this part of the tree.
There's a vampire in there.
I don't see how there could not be.
Whoa.
Whoa. Well,
Merry Christmas.
I thought the rot down there and all the way down the log was coming from this crotch right here, but it's solid, so we're just gonna go down another 1.5 inches, see what that rot looks like, and at least we can use this for our building lumber, the good stuff. Ooh. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty sweet looking. So there's definitely not a bad spot there. Not until there. But we're still getting into the bad core. Dude, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, for pine.
Could you imagine that planed and
Yes.
varnished?
Unfortunate that it can't be put through the big planer. This end here looks so cool. I didn't want to waste it by taking another slab out in order to get rid of, oh, you can't see the bad spot now, but the bad spot goes down 3.5 inches. So we're going to try to cut a wedge out of this thing. These are screwed down as low as they go. And then we've made ourselves a little ramp here and see if we can pop out right here.
You do any cool jumps off of it?
We do a lot of cool jumps, yeah. What do you think? Are we gonna get a good piece underneath? Looks like a fairly decent coffee table. Some cool holes in it we can clean out, maybe epoxy. Yeah, that's for pine. That's about as pretty as it comes. All right, I think this is my coffee table. It's 3.5 inches. Kind of hard to see in the shadows, but it's kind of pretty. It's got this one hole in it that goes all the way through. I guess you can't see it here, matches up with this, but I'll dig that out and probably fill it with epoxy when it dries. No telling how long that's going to take to dry. We're just going to sticker it and stack all this crap back together, and the rest of this we're just going to do 1.5 inch boards, and you can use it for 2x4s or something. Well, we got everything we came for. Took an extra day and still had a lot left over here. We stuck this log back together. I think that's pretty much all good wood there. And then we got some other pieces under there, don't know what we'll do with. Hauled all the rest up for Tito to turn into milling wood. And I think we're both really tired and may have had a few too many Oreos, but I'm gonna go get his stuff set up. Gonna go get his stuff set up to mill.
Gonna go get
his stuff set up to mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost got it.
We got those put to bed until we're ready for them. Thought by the time I had that little tent built, I'd hear some chainsawing, but wouldn't be surprised to come up here and find him snoozing on one of the logs. Man, I am whooped. Milling big logs on the ground like that for a couple days will take it out of you. I think we finally gonna have a break in the hot, dry weather starting tomorrow or the next day. We got like 3 days of rain, which is gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna probably sit in the cabin where it's not gonna be 88 degrees for a change, edit some videos. But maybe tomorrow, if it doesn't start raining too early, I'm gonna start trimming down all those cedar boards we made for the ceiling. Oh yeah, if the generator works. Well, if not, we'll just have to do it with the chainsaw. There's only like an hour left in the work day here. Then I think we're gonna have to make some hot dogs or something. So thanks for watching. Come back next week. Probably do the cabin roof, and then I don't know. I know that coffee table is not going to be dry by then, but I can't. I'm not very good at waiting. We'll probably end up hanging that up as soon as the ceiling's done. Did I say roof? I meant ceiling the whole time. Anyway, thanks for watching.